Good morning. It's June 11th here in the garden. My name's Kenny, and we're going to give you a little garden update. So let's see what's going on. Just perusing around the garden. I got my first cup of coffee this morning. We're up here at the old garlic beds that we succession planted green beans, which, as you can see, they've really taken hold. We've got a few flowers here, Amerigo and Zinnia, that are doing good. Got some arugula here that's coming up. My zucchini's doing strong. It won't be long, it'll be blooming. There's my French breakfast radishes, trying to form some little radishes. Right beside it, here's some Swiss chard. This is the white stem. We've still got our second garlic is doing pretty well. Now over here where we have our Dinosaur Kale, I had 5 in here, and it looks like I've got a vole that decided to take out a couple of them. As you can see here in our half 55-gallon barrels, the Magic Molly potatoes, they're doing good. They're starting to bloom. They should have a good crop of potatoes, hopefully. Most of these will be for seed for next year. And we have the other Swiss chards, the rhubarb chard. It's coming up here. Our Atlantic giant pumpkins are going crazy, or the one is. Maybe we give a little further out view here. It's just seemed to go wherever. I figure I'll train it to go around. It looks like it has actually set fruit there and right here. And there's another one sitting there. Now, I'm not going to pull these off. I'm not trying to grow 500-pound pumpkins. This year I'm going to grow some seeds because these were planted kind of late to where I wanted to anyway. But they're doing pretty good. I still have some Dinosaur Kale doing good over here. I'll replant those 2 and hope for the best. And then I've got this rocket arugula. Here's some extras once I get a row prepared. But been come out here this morning doing a little harvesting. We've been getting quite a few cucumbers off the few plants that we have, and this is the first picking of purple hull peas, and if you haven't had them, you don't know what you're missing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down here today and I'm gonna pick some jalapeno peppers. Now let's take a look over here. Here's the broccoli. Now this was planted late. I really gotta wonder if it's gonna bolt, but you can see that it's putting up a flower head now. So I'll just have to watch it real close, make sure it stays in tight. If it starts to bolt early, I'll just have to pick them small. But I was hoping that this strain would do good, and it appears like it might be. We'll just see how it ends up. The cabbage loopers, I'm still keeping an eye out for them, but I haven't seen where they've come back yet. Some of these are starting to fill in the heads that are starting to get full enough that I might pick one. Now this is the other broccoli down here. It's still it's still growing, and it looks like I got loopers on this one. Yes, I do. I'm gonna have to come in here and pinch all those off, give them a little organic treatment. The broadleaf lettuce, it's going crazy. That and the romaine's doing real well too. We've just been picking leaves off the outside, and the onions are are starting to take off. So we'll have some table onions here in a few weeks, I think. Like I say, I picked the purple hull peas, but I never did get out here and get rid of the grass, so I'm going to have a bunch of seed to deal with. But you can see these purple hull peas are just loaded. Here in the next week, it's going to be a bunch of picking, get these taken care of. Now we've harvested most of our corn. Right here with our pumpkins. These, excuse me, these are the sugar pies. They're hiding off in here. There's one. These they're starting to get a little bit of size, but these are 8 to 10 pound pumpkins, so they're not growing to be big ones. They're good meaty pumpkin. There is a few scraggler ears of corn. I will update on my treatment with BT. It wasn't as effective, even though I was doing every 5 days. I don't know if it's water was causing it. Next year's corn, I'm going to try to drip tape or water some type of drip system. Now these are the butternut squash. You can see there's plenty of them, and over a period of time they'll get all ripened up. Out of the two corns, we planted the peaches and cream and the candy corn. The candy corn seemed to do the best. We come out with enough, got it all in the freezer. Now what we've got down here is our table queen. They're scattered around down in here. They seem to be doing pretty good. We have a few scraggling potatoes, and these we'll need to dig these up. Look like the blight and bugs are finishing them off. And down here we have our buttercup squash, and of course we're getting quite a bit of these loaded up on here, and they're showing no signs of slowing down. As you can see, they're heading out for open country. Sweet potatoes are really on schedule now. They're really filling in this area. Should be a good crop. There's a few turnips that was left for to make turnips. We have our Big Mac pumpkins down here. Lots of pumpkins. Even some of these are really have put some size. I'm gonna have to separate these two people because they're wanting to become too friendly, so we'll keep them trained away. There's one pumpkin, and this thing is probably, I would say, I've got a friend here I have to get rid of. He's not, okay, that's one way to get rid of him. But this one's here is probably 20 inches across already. But we have a bunch of them off in here growing, so the grandkids should have some for this winter. Been kind of under the weather here lately, so things have got a little bit out of order. We have some watermelons coming in here all over, small melons, so eventually they'll ripen up. And hopefully I can keep these people these plants separated. And over here, I noticed that with my butternuts, I actually had sugar pie pumpkin down in this area too, which is fine. But the watermelons are doing good. They're starting to get rooted in real good. Still haven't taken up my kale, so hopefully I'll do that this week. We'll just have to see how I get to feeling. The tomatoes are they're getting kind of carried away. They're loaded up. Now I've done some little videos, but I never posted them. But these tomato plants, I didn't trim suckers out of them. Everyone says trim the suckers, but now it's getting hot, and when it starts getting hot, your flowers don't set. So if you didn't have a lot of tomato set before the heat come on, you're not going to get any until the cooler time. These are celebrities, but as you can see, I've let them branch out however they want. This one has 3 branches, and you can see that 2 of the branches are loaded up with tomatoes. Now this one here has 4, 3 of them's loaded up. But you can see here, if you start looking at my tomatoes now, if I was cutting these suckers off, this sucker here, right over here, this is no, that's actually from the other one, because there's 2 in this cage. But this branch here is loaded. This branch here's got 1. This other branch has got a bunch. If I'd cut these suckers off, all these tomatoes wouldn't be on here right now. And you can see on these how loaded that they are. And it doesn't affect the size. I mean, it might a little bit, because if you trim all your tomatoes off and you leave 1, which all the energy is going to go to 1. But these are not small tomatoes. These are average size tomatoes. There's a few large ones in there, but they're loaded up. And these tomatoes, if I'd have trimmed them down to 1 vine, I wouldn't have all these tomatoes, because what happens is it has to shoot up a vine and then it starts blooming. Well, when the sucker comes up on the bottom and it starts getting a certain size, then it starts blooming. Then you set tomatoes. And as you set these tomatoes in here, they've already started. Well, then when it gets up into the 90s, you start getting to where it doesn't set tomatoes. And what you end up with is only the few that were able to set on the vine that had to grow further, set tomatoes, grow further, set tomatoes, instead of all the younger suckers that come off and already started setting tomatoes. So, like I say, in order to maximize your tomato, say for your early season, then it's best not to trim your suckers. It doesn't affect your plant. Everyone says it draws from it and this and that, but as you can see, it doesn't. So take your own choice. Now these vines are only about anywhere from 3 to 4 feet tall, because the celebrity acts like a determinant, but it's actually an indeterminate. It'll continue to grow. It's going to set all this fruit and ripen it up, and then it'll start growing some more, and it start trying to set flowers. But like I say, as long as it's in the 90s, they're not going to you're going to have a hard time of getting any of them to pollinate. Now this one early girl has kind of got carried away. It's up about 6 foot now. these were supposed to be bush, so apparently seed on that was a little bit strange. And we have a few of these other ones that's in here. They have this one, it didn't get any size. And same thing down here. I ended up having to trim a whole lot out of this one, because whenever blight started hitting the leaves, have to take them off. But anyway, that's where we're sitting out here in the garden. I appreciate you watching. If there's anything that you'd like to see a video on that I might can help you with, well, just mention it down in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell button so you'll be notified. If you like this video, like it, and if you think it's got content that might help someone else, take and share it, because there's a lot of us out there who wants a garden. Now I think it's time that I need to get here and start getting some more of these jalapenos off these plants and get them put in jars. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening.